What do you want? Oh, you get fish.
The Senate has no choice. Kailangan nila i-process ang impeachment process. And that's exactly what was happening. Once the impeachment complaints were filed, the House and the Senate, they had no choice. Nakatali na kamay nila. They have to do this. And they have to do it in recognition of it again, the complaints that have been filed. So, yun ang nangyari ngayon. And that's why we have come to this point where the House has transmitted already the impeachment complaint to the Senate. We have heard some of the statements made by the Senate President as to how he is planning to handle it. So we will have to see because it is many, as we've heard before, that we heard many times during the Corona trial, these impeachment trials are sui generis. And therefore, we have to be very clear how the rules are and how it will be conducted. Yun yung naalala ko, because I was also in the House and I was in the Senate during the Corona time. Kaya para meron akong some understanding sa mga procedure. But anyway, that's the way I see it. That's the way that happened. And now I'll open the floor. Do you have any questions for you?
Thank you, Mr. President. First question, Ivan Bernian, JA7. Good afternoon, Mr. President. What is true na constitutional duty ng House to act on the impeachment complaint? Meron po silang choice kung i-endorse sila o hindi. Diretso ko na lang, did you have a hand in this impeachment?
No, the executive cannot have a hand in the impeachment. Walang role ng executive. Did we discuss it with the speaker? Did we discuss it with the other congressmen? Of course. And that tinatanong, anong plano ninyo? Ano ba talagang gusto ninyo gawin? And well, nandito na ito. Hindi nyo namin maiwasan.
But the conventional thinking, Mr. President, is that nothing comes to pass in the House without the President or without Malacanang's.
You give me too much credit. But again, what the House has done is clearly the mandate that they have been, the constitutional mandate that they have to proceed with the impeachment complaint. So that's why I think they're just following the puli-puli ito, na-transmit nila ang impeachment complaint sa
One last point sa bayan, Mr. President. Kapansin-pansin na unang pumirma sa endorsement ang anak niyo. Did he seek your advice on this and what did you tell him?
Of course, he did. And I said, it was very simple that I told you. And he said, you know, mukhang pipirmahan na, but what's your opinion on what I can do? And I told him, I said, the process is begun. It has, parang batas yan, when you're in the legislature, when you file a bill, okay, House Bill number 1, 2, 3, etc., etc. Pag file mo yan, that bill takes a life of its own. Kahit anong gawin ng congressman na nag-file o senador na nag-file, kahit ayaw niya yung mga changes na magagawin doon sa kanyang bill, wala na siyang magagawa. Because the bill is going through the process as it should. And part of that process will be amendments, additions, all that. The impeachment complaint is exactly the same. Once it has been filed, there is a procedure that needs to be followed already. So sabi ko, andyan na tayo, sabi ko kay Kong Sandro, sabi ko sa kanya, the process has already begun. So, it's your duty now to support that process. So do your duty. That's what I told you. Do your duty. You have to support the process. You are constitutionally mandated to carry out that process. And you're a congressman, so do your duty. That's what I told you. I didn't know you'd be the first to sign it.
Maricel Halili, News 5.
Ay, wala ka na po po. Ang pag-alcohol sa ka.
Sir, magandang hapon po. Sir, you were very vocal before na ayaw niyo po ng impeachment because it's not the right time. But now na it's there already, paano niyo po ito nakikita na makakaapekto, especially dun sa mga ongoing priorities?
Well, it depends on how the Senate chooses to handle it. Hindi pa maliwanag kung ano yung plano ni Senate President at saka yung ating mga senador. Kung paano nila gagawin, if they will immediately convene, if they will study the rules, if they will wait until the next session. So we'll have to wait until they decide on how it's going to be.
Pero just to be categorical about it, sir, don't you see this as a defiance in a way, considering na naging vocal na po kayo before that this is not the right time, and yet nag-proceed pa rin yung impeachment case?
No. I'm sure that the parties that filed the impeachment cases felt strongly about it, and despite my importunings and expressing my opinion that we really would rather not have the impeachment, they continue to do that. So, it's not defiance. May ganyan ang kanilang paniniwala. Sa kanilang paniniwala, kailangan gawin ito. Kahit na sinabi ko na sana wag na, hindi namin pwedeng panampasin ito. Ganun ang thinking nila. Sinunod nila. And I don't do that as defiance. And I do that as they're expressing what they feel to be right. Thank you.
Jonel Maribongat, UNTV. Sir, other issue. Sir, ano po yung nasa likod ng biglaang pagpapalit ng liderato po ng PhilHealth at ano po ang inyong direktiba sa bagong PhilHealth President, sir?
Actually, kung titignan ninyo ang qualifications ni Dr. Mercado, he is very, very well versed in both hospital administration, insurance, and his whole life has been devoted to healthcare. And so, it was after nung nag-oath taking kami, matagal kami nag-usap. Sabi ko, baliktad, hindi ko na siya ina-advise, he's the expert. So tinanong ko siya, ano sa palagay mo kailangan natin gawin? But we went, pareho kami, immediately napunta yung usapan sa digitalization. Kasi maganda naman ang serbisyo ng PhilHealth, ngunit yung pag-process ng mga ng claim, pag-apply, etc. Hindi kinakamay pa rin. Kaya't napakabagal. And that's why that became a priority. But of course, beyond that, he has many other ideas on how to make the services of PhilHealth more inclusive, expanded, and again to give better coverage for different conditions for those who will avail of the PhilHealth services and of their financial support.
Sir, nag-resign po ba siya?
Sinabi niya sa akin, that's as far as I can tell you. Sabi, I'll go first, I'll go to say in a week's time, sabi niya sa akin, in a week's time, bibigyan kita ng report, much more detail kung ano sa palagay ko yung nakikita ko sa PhilHealth na pwedeng palitan, pwedeng palakin, etc.
Sir, nilinaw, nag-resign po ba si Relde Desma?
Well, yes, he left his position already. Sabi nga, nahirapan na rin yata sa with all of hindi siya sanay sa politika. Monday, the Desmond very much comes from the private sector. So I think he found the transition to be jarring. So
Thanks, sir. John and People's Journal.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, just would like to get your thoughts on Representative Marcoleta's statement that there is no such thing as the West Philippine Sea.
okay, he's expressing his opinion. when I see him, lulukuhin ko siya. He's a candidate, so he has to grab headlines, di ba? So, tama yung ginawa niya for a candidate. Ngayon, we're talking about him na. magaling talaga siya sa ganun.
Sir, yung Chinese monster ship nasa West Philippine Sea for more than a month now. How are you going to respond to this? Will you change your approach? Kasi parang hindi naman umaalis doon sa area.
Well, we don't have the means na paalisin. Hindi naman buti kung meron tayong aircraft carrier na may kasamang destroyer, frigate at saka submarine na papupuntahin natin doon para matulak silang palayo. Wala naman tayong gano'n. Kung sa palakihan at paramihan lang ng barko, malayo tayo sa China. Pero, ang policy naman natin is that we will just continue to defend our territory, our sovereign territory, and our territorial rights in the EEZ. Yun lang. Kahit ano pa, ang inisip natin, ano bang mission ng Coast Guard? Ano bang mission ng Navy? To protect the territorial integrity of the Philippines. So that's what they will do. They will continue to do that, no matter what any other foreign power does. That is what we will do. When we detect the presence of a foreign vessel who is beginning to intrude or coming close already to our coastal waters, papupuntahan natin ang barko. And we will challenge them. And we will make sure that they know that this is what they are doing is illegal. Of course, they will counter saying that they're doing regular law enforcement patrols. But they will always find, they will always find the Philippine presence. No matter what they do, kahit na banggain na yung barko natin, kahit na mag-water cannon sila, mag-laser sila, kahit kung ano pang gawin na mag-block sila, laging nandun ang Pilipinas. They will always be there protecting our territory. We will always be there making sure our fishermen are able to exercise their sovereign rights. Nandun lagi. That's their mission. And if their presence helps to, kasi kung minsan, napapaalis nga nila kahit yung malalaking barko, then they will have achieved what they are supposed to do while they are patrolling our waters.
Sir, last na lang from me. Sir, last week you said that you had a deal with nagbigay kayo ng kondisyon sa China na you will pull out the typhoon missile if and when China will stop its aggression. Nag-respond na po ba ang China about it?
No. I didn't expect them to no, I didn't expect them to, and they haven't responded specifically. They've responded in general terms, saying that what they do is a lawful exercise in law enforcement. But no, nothing specific on the missiles, nothing specific about the reduction of tension, the reduction of the aggressive moves, and nothing like that. Wala kami ng pag-usap na.
Alexis Romero, Philippine Star.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. Let me just go back to one of our interviews during one of your previous years visits sa Honolulu, Hawaii, when asked about the looming impeachment supposedly that time, against Vice President Sara Duterte, when asked, you told reporters, you told us, binabantayan namin ng mabuti, this was in Honolulu, Mr. President, binabantayan namin ng mabuti because we don't want her to be impeached. She does not deserve to be impeached, so we will make sure that this is something we will pay very close attention to. So that time, apparently, you do not want her impeached. Given these recent developments, do you hold that stance still, or your position has changed?
It doesn't matter what I think. It will have to go through the procedure. It will go to trial, and we will have senator judges, and they will hear the case. The prosecutors will come from the House. There will be a defense panel, and it will be a trial. It doesn't matter what I think at this point. That was my opinion. That's my opinion when I was asked that. None of this had happened yet. But Well, I have to keep reminding you. The executive was very, wala kaming formal role in the entire impeachment process. The executive has no formal role. If ever there's an informal role, makausap ko yung TV speaker, makausap ko yung congressman, makausap ko yung senador, si SP, makausap ko. But that's about it. They will decide how they will proceed. Not, I don't think you can expect the congressman or the senator or the SP or the speaker to come to me. What do you want us to do? They know what they have their own way of doing things. And that's what they will implement. So, siguro the most that the president can do or any part of the department of the executive can do is moral suasion. Huwag na lang sana. Wala, that didn't work. Patuloy pa rin. So, we follow the process.
Salamat po. Meths Balbuena, Radyo Pilipinas.
Hello, sir. I know co-equal branch po natin dito po, sir. I know co-equal branch po natin, sir, yung Senate. But are you planning, sir, to, personally ask the Senate kung paano po nila i-handle yung impeachment para po tayo sa executive kung paano po nila i-handle once na mag-transmit po sa kanila yung impeachment para lang po tayo sa executive, malaman din po natin kung paano gagawin natin adjustment doon sa possible effect po sa bansa.
Doon sa
Possible effect po ng impeachment sa bansa.
It's not that, again, you should ask now, at least at this point, it's in the Senate. You have to ask it from the Senate. If you're going to ask about the prosecution's case, I don't know if you'll get an answer right now because we've only just started, but they're the ones that you should be asking. From this point on, I'm just a very interested observer. But again, I don't appear like I will not be part of it. Now there will be no representation from the executive. Why should there be? So, wala talagang we leave it to Congress, now specifically the Senate, to exercise their own wisdom.
Edwin Santos, Net 25.
Mr. President, sabi niyo po ang impeachment ay hindi makapagdudulot ng kabutihan sa buhay ng kahit isang Pilipino. Nung nag-ask po ng advice sa inyo si Congressman Sandro Marcos, as a father and as a father of this nation, hindi niyo po ba naisip, na-advise siya na gawin kayong duty para sa kapakanan at interest ng mas nakararaning mga Pilipino, at yung kung ano po yung standing nila sana ay wag matuloy yung impeachment.
The House is a collegial body. They decide as one. And that was what the House decided. He is a member of the House of Representatives. So, as a member of the House of Representatives, he has to do his duty. Whatever his opinions might be, he must do his duty. Even if he's hesitant, all this applies to not only my son, it applies to all the congressmen. Once na-file na yung impeachment complaint, gawin nila yung trabaho. Wala na silang choice. Yun ang tinutukoy ko, yung una kong statement ko dito. The Senate has no choice, the House has no choice. That's exactly what the situation is. Once the second that the complaints were filed.
Ang government po ba ay ready kung naman po yung maging effect implication na sakaling matuloy po yung impeachment trial sa Senado? If in case po namin effect kasi magtatrabaho po sila, baka maapektuhan yung gagawin.
Antayin natin kung ano yung gagawin. Because I don't know, hindi pala wala tayong timetable, wala tayong paano yung pati ko-conduct, what are the rules that will be followed, etc. Antayin natin. It is up to them how they decide to have the trial. When they have the trial, what are the rules for the trial, how they will conduct it, etc. So who will be the presiding judge we have a senator judge who will be the presiding whatever.
Last na lang po, wala po bang plano ang ating Pangulo na pakiusapan po sila?
See?
Kayo po, wala po ba kayong plano bilang Pangulo ng ating bansa para pakiusapan sila na huwag nang ituloy yung impeachment dahil baka abala nga naman po sa trabaho ng ating gobyerno at syempre sa buhay at pamumuhay ng ating mga kababayan?
The Senate has no choice. The House has no choice. They have to do this now. Once the impeachment complaint was filed, tumakbo na ang proseso. At kung hindi nila ipatakbo yung proseso, then they are delinquent in their duties. That's why they just have, that's what I meant. The House has no choice. They have to proceed with the impeachment complaint. The Senate now has no choice. They have to try the impeachment complaint. So making pakiusap doing that, it won't change anything. It won't change anything. They still have to have a trial.
Chana Yu, People's Journal.
Sir, natapos na yung session kahapon ng Congress. Magpapatawag po ba kayo ng special session para so that the Senate can proceed with the
If the
impeachment trial?
senators ask for it, yes. Again, sila ang mag-decide. Hindi kami ang nag-decide dito. If the Senate President calls me up on the telephone, the senators, kinausap ko yung mga senator kung pwede bang mag-special session. Sure, gagawin ko. Pero kung wala silang request na gano'n, ibig sabihin na may iba pa silang ginagawa. They're not yet ready.
Wala pang request ngayon, sir. Wala pang request as we
Napakaambal.
speak.
They just got it yesterday.
Thank you, sir.
No.
Ann Soberano, Bombo Radyo.
Sir, good afternoon. Just want to get your thoughts lang, sir. May kumakalat kasing mga issue din na may mga kapalit na ayuda po. Yung mga pumirma pong mga congressman sa impeachment ay binigyan po daw ng ayuda. Your thoughts on this? Baka sakali, sir, na diversionary tactics or they wanted to undermine yung credibility po ng House?
They're undermining the process by saying that, yeah, I've heard also the assertion that may ganon. I don't think so. Overwhelming ang boto ang pumirma. At yung ano man yung pumirma, 215. Ang pagkaintindi ko, that meron pang mga congressman na gusto sana pumirma pero out of town. So hindi sila makapunta para pumirma. In fact, nagtatanong ang iba kung pwede e-signature. Mukhang hindi pwede kasi kailangan sa harap ng section at saka nakasusunta at saka nakanotarized. But I don't think that kind of two-thirds of the Senate, 306 sila, they got 215. So just a little bit over two-thirds, hindi mo makukuha sa ganong klaseng system. I live in Congress, I don't think that way of operating with the vote. Certainly not to the extent that we get 215 signatures.
Tapos pagkahuman ang court
Ana Bacho, Jimmy News Online.
Good afternoon, sir. So may we just get your thoughts on the statement of Representative Paulo Duterte that the impeachment was just an abuse of power and political persecution?
What else would he say? Ano naman sabihin niya, tama lahat yan. It's nothing. We've heard these statements from Congressman Pulong before. I just see his reaction to that his by Pulong Duterte about Sara Duterte. So not exactly surprising. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Sir, we have reached on Quevedo from Tribune.
Sir, may I ask you, do you agree that somehow your opinions or statements has influenced certain members of Congress? like somehow, sir, parang reverse psychology, like sending a kind of signal.
Well, I said it did because none of, like I said, wala naman sa yung sasabi kong kaalyado namin sa House ang nag-file ng impeachment. Kasi yan ang pakiusap ko sa kanila, huwag na kayo mag-file ng impeachment. So hindi sila nag-file ng impeachment. Ang nag-file ng impeachment, ibang grupo. Hindi mo masasabi yung grupo yung kaalyado ko. So they just did what they felt was needed to be done.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, Heidi Sampang, DZAS.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. I know naging start pa lang naman po ito, pero gaano po kaya tayo kahanda sa economic impact po ng impeachment trial at posible po kasi itong makaslow down sa ating pong momentum?
I doubt it very much. If you, hindi naman, wala akong nakikita magiging effect na gano'n. Basta patuloy yung ang ating pinaplano, ating mga strategy tungkol sa investment, tungkol sa mga bagong structural changes na lagi kong pinag-uusapan. But yun lang naman ang tinitignan ng investor rin na. So I don't think it will have any effect.
Thank you, sir.
Julie Aurelio, Inquirer.
Good afternoon, sir. If I may recall your statement last year prior to the filing of the impeachment complaints, you said that you didn't want impeachment complaints to be filed because it would only distract legislators from doing their jobs. It will not serve or benefit any Filipino. Given that, what's your guidance to Congress so that they won't be?
I do not give guidance to Congress.
But how do you solve the problem of not distracting them from
Again, you give me far too much credit that I can tell congressmen to do this and to do that. I cannot. I do not give guidance to Congress. We are independent of each other. Of course, we talk to each other. But hindi ko kaya sabihin gawin mo ito, hindi ko kaya gawin. And I don't even attempt to do that. So let's be very clear there. Sure, when I'm talking to them, they ask my opinion, I give them my opinion. But it's up to them to take it or not. You cannot call it guidance.
Are you not afraid that it might derail your effort or it might derail priority measures in Congress because
Because
the Senate will be busy with the impeachment. So
slowly, please. I cannot understand.
are you not afraid that you were afraid before that the impeachment process might derail or might sidetrack the priority measures of your administration, given that this is already happening? Are you not fearful or afraid that it might actually come to pass? Your fears from before.
What did we talk about 80% of the time today? Impeachment. It happened already. It's happening already. Imbis na pag-usapan natin ang agrarian reform, imbis na pag-usapan natin ang climate change, we're talking about impeachment. So what you're asking is, I'm not afraid it's about to happen. It's happened. Look at today. We're talking about impeachment the whole time.
Last na lang, sir. When you gave when you uttered those words that you're not in favor of impeaching the vice president, that happened when it was not yet filed. You made that clear, very clear. And yet, you did say that it is Congress's constitutional duty to let the process go, to let the impeachment process proceed as constitutionally mandated. However, the outcome is actually contrary to what you actually want, which is not to impeach the vice president. No.
Where is the contrary? Where is it contrary to what I said?
Because you don't, your thoughts